Everyone, what is up? Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day again. We got extra news for today's video. We can see here from ripple.com, the Blockstars podcast, why unifying payments infrastructure will boost financial inclusion.
Sort of become this like unified communications infrastructure. And so you can ask yourself like, okay, well, what would that look like for payments? And like in payments, the way it works today is you have all this pre-funded capital that is use case specific. So, if I'm a big corporation, I probably have money pre-funded around the world to pay my vendors. If I'm a remittance company, I probably have money pre-funded around the world. If I'm a payments company or a merchant acquirer, just pretty much anyone who moves other people's money. If I'm a bank, I have capital that's tied up in the provision of liquidity so that I can either make markets between currencies or kind of pre-fund so I can make transactions more quickly than waiting for the money to get there. And a lot of that is redundant, right? So you have all these different companies have their own set of capital that they have dedicated for that purpose. And to me, that reminded me a lot of the situation pre-internet, where you had all these different communications companies that had their own cables and their own wires and their own satellites and so on. And the internet just makes it so that I can route over other people's infrastructure, even if my use case isn't even something that they ever contemplated when they built that system. So that's really the way that I think about Intelligent in the long run. It's like it should be this sort of general infrastructure for the movement of value.
What kind of shape was Interledger in when you started Coil? So it was an idea in the lab, and then you decided that to take this massive real-world use case of web monetization and apply this technology. It almost feels like you were kind of trying to build YouTube like in the 90s.
So that's just a little bit of the Blockstars podcast. If you guys would like to hear more, I'll leave all the links down in the description below, but a lot of information. Obi-Wan Asuhiro, Ripple CEO, draws comparison to Uber and explains the corporate strategy. Now if we click on the article right here, in some ways I think what Uber did and being disruptive to the taxi industry, I mean obviously they built an amazing business and a lot to be impressed with, but I also think there's a way that you could build without being disruptive or being much more collaborative with an industry. That's certainly what we focus on at Ripple. I think an innovation is alive and well in many of our partners. I would like to think that we learn from each other as opposed to being one-sided. Yes, we have Silicon Valley kind of culture at Ripple, but I think sometimes we are learning as much from how to innovate at scale with some of these bank partners. CoinGecko Suido, the value of the coin is based on a number of transactions going through the system. At $51 per coin, the system changes in a way that won't be allowed initially, something to do with market cap. So it will cap at $50 for a short time until the system has stabilized and the predatory investors have been removed from the market. Go down the replies, we can see from Mr. Freshtime, building the new economy. With each major crisis, we can see that need to reinvent the relationships between individuals, businesses, and governments. This book lays out a vision of what we should build, should change in support of this new order. Flare tweeted, we named our testnet after Martha Costin, who invented the maritime flare. Snapshot of the XRP ledger for the Spark distribution will be taken on the 194th anniversary of her birthday, December 12th, 2020. Now that tweet connects to the next tweet from the Cryptic Poet. The demand for XRP until December 12th just increased. More investors will want to get in to capitalize on the Flare utility fork. Supply and demand say the price could go up. Again, we still have some time to register for the Spark tokens. XRP memes has tweeted out, Glenn Beck warns of a financial reset. Let's watch this.
Okay, let me tell you about our sponsor. Willem Midcoop. Our middle coop, he's the author of The Big Reset, The War on Gold and the Financial Endgame. He believes that the international monetary system has entered its last term and is up for reset. I want to say it's Harry Dent. Is it Harry Dent or is that a comic book? That's the comic book guy, right? Harry Dent?
Yes.
That's Two-Face, Harry Dent? I think there's another Harry Dent. A real guy. Will you look him up? He's a financial guy. I think he was the guy who predicted the crash of 2008 or something. He's a really good guy. He says, we are already at the beginning of the crash. He says it's already beginning to happen. Nobody realizes it, but it's already here.
It is Harry S. Dent.
Okay, so this guy Willem Middelkoop, he said, quote, "It always ends in inflation, and certainly in 2016 we can expect more quantitative easing. When that doesn't defeat deflation, further unorthodox measures will be taken, helicopter money, and eventually a gold revaluation. By revaluing gold to a much higher level," I'm quoting him, "to over $8,000 an ounce, central bankers will solve quite a lot of problems," end quote.
Wow.
If that happens,
1,200 now.
yeah, it's 1,100.
1,100.
Yeah,
It might go up to 8,000.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, this is one guy's opinion, but he's a pretty respected guy. But one guy's opinion. I don't buy it for investment. I buy it if it's at $8,000 an ounce. The world is in crazy town. The world is absolutely on fire. But that's what these experts are now starting to say. When I started saying this originally, nobody was saying it. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody was saying it. Now all the experts are starting to say we are headed for something much, much worse than 2008. The big reset is coming. May I suggest you call Goldline now?
The big reset is coming. Over $8,000. Gold is coming back as well. A lot of stuff seems to be happening. XRP Crypto Wolf has tweeted out, South Korea's central bank will begin the pilot test for a central bank digital currency by the end of 2021. It plans to unveil details for a consulting partnership with a company on August 31st. The Bank of Korea is accelerating its drive for a CBDC system. CBDC, central bank digital currencies. Last month, the central bank finished its first phase review before setting up the CBDC pilot system. It plans to unveil details for a consulting partnership with a local company on August 31st. As part of its second step towards the CBDC drive, the central bank said Sunday. There we go, guys. You guys can read all of this. CBDCs are coming into the play. A lot is changing in the world. A lot will happen in the upcoming months, especially in 2020 and 2021. But who really knows what is going to happen at the end of the day. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. If you guys did, please leave a like, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Feel free to be a member of the channel. See you guys in the next video. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. And hey guys, see ya.
This is the beginning of the greatest economic cycle this country has had since World War II. And I knew the things that Donald would do, and he hasn't even got started. But this is the eye of the motherfucking storm, the perfect storm. It ain't never gonna get any better. Never. This is perfect for the QLA model. If I could have written a prescription or a formula, I couldn't have written it any better. Low interest rates, money's free, you stupid. Massive chaos. And Donald's going to rip the mother economy apart. And he's going to for practice in a good way. This is it. It ain't never going to get anything better. This is like a multiple orgasm the rest of your life, you fucking slags that are in the audience. This is it.
Sometimes I don't want to hear what Dan has to tell me. But as I wrote in one of my blogs, the old man, he's always right. Because he's telling you what you don't want to hear about yourself, but what you know is true. And that is, you're not stepping yourself up. You're not stepping your game up. And you get caught up in fear. As Dan says, false expectations appearing real.